Hello everyone, Kevin here, and I have a very significant video to show you guys today. Let's take a look.
Great, thank you. And could you just spell your name one more time?
ERMIYAFANAEIAN.
Thank you. I just want to make sure we get it right.
Yeah, definitely.
So guys, this is Urmia Fanon. Does anybody want to guess what Urmia does? I'll give you a hint. It starts with Instagram and ends with Otto. That's right, Urmia fancies himself an Instagram model, as do probably everybody on Instagram nowadays who has over 50 followers. Anyway, I decided I'd look into Urmia because I wonder who's paying for his little Kmart bull phone? Who's paying for all these flyers and these banners? You know, I own a business. These banners and flyers, they're not cheap. So somebody's paying for this stuff. Anyway, I looked online, did a little digging, and sure enough, Urmia is tied in heavily with Black Lives Matter and the Women's March on Washington in Salt Lake City. Now, this is important because the very people organizing these walkouts nationwide are from Black Lives Matter and the Women's March on Washington, with the head of the Women's March, Dina Kantz, out there funding all these marches and paying for the permits in DC and other cities for these kids to, walk out and protest our Second Amendment rights.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Do you have anything? I'm with the City Journals,
City
Sugar
Journals.
House City Journal.
Great.
Yeah.
City Journal.
Yeah, comes in the mail. Anything else you want to say?
I want to say I'm so proud of all my students, all my fellow teachers and administrators who are joining us in the movement today.
Fellow teachers? Is this guy saying he's a teacher? What kind of parent? Guys, I would pull my kid out of class in a heartbeat if this person was teaching them. The principal would have a bloody nose after talking to me. And I don't say this because the guy's got the long hair and might be trans. I'm saying this because he's a left-wing lunatic. Anyway, the teaching thing is important and it'll come back up later, so pay attention.
How many students do you anticipate participating today?
So today at my school, I anticipate at least 200 students,
Okay.
at least. I'm hoping there's more, and there probably will be more. Across the nation, there's over 2,000 schools who are registered nationwide. And here in Utah, there's over 40 schools. That includes middle schools, and that also includes elementary schools.
Okay.
So he kept saying my school, and I want to see what ties this person has to this particular school. Well, he's not a teacher there, but what I did find is that he is assigned there as an activist. That's the way these registrations work. He talks about registering the schools. All the schools that I could find that were registered for these walkouts, they are all public schools in big cities in mostly Democrat and liberal strongholds. So what this tells you is that they are doing these events where they think they can get away with it. It shows that these public schools in these Democrat-run cities are more focused on indoctrination and not so much education. And that's clear when you look at the fact that there's no private schools signing up for this. Because private school parents would be pretty pissed if their children's education was interrupted so they could be used in this political stunt on their own dollar.
What can be done after this walkout is over? Where do you go from here?
What we plan to do is establishing legislation that restricts obtainment to weapons that put the assuredness of our safety at risk.
So we want to pass the legislation so the assuredness of our safety from these weapons is assured. Guys, that should piss you off, right? Once again, we see that the activist wing of the Democratic Party are just a bunch of idiots. They have no idea what it is they are supporting. They can't make any good points about gun control. They just have a few talking points that they were fed. And I guarantee you that this person had nothing to do with guns a week ago, right? They probably got a phone call. Hey, Ernaya, I remember you from the Women's March. You want to make $15 an hour again? Yeah, sure. I was just doing some Instagram modeling. Let me go on out there. And that's how it works. They don't care about guns. They just care about getting their little Soros paycheck. And it's sad because if you put the type of attention that the media puts on people like this, on people on the right, everybody in America would be pro-gun because we have the better arguments. But it just shows you that the left-wing activist arm of the Democratic Party, they are only focused on one thing, and that's chasing that paper, baby.
What I am hoping students will do, and I know they will do, is register to vote. And today we have voter registration booths set up in our schools. And I also am hoping for them to contact their congressmen and women and state legislators to express why they are tired of school shootings and how we can change it.
Yes, because I'm sure our lawmakers are looking forward to hearing from 12 and 13-year-olds about gun policy. So when he talks about registration, that's a big part of this too. And I don't talk about this much, but the Democrats have really bet their future on naive kids, people who are new to this country, people who have no business voting in the first place. If you need somebody to coerce you into registering to vote, you shouldn't be voting in the first place. But the Democrats pull these stunts, right? So like if there's a Black Lives Matter riot, they'll go out there and send their squad of activists out and they'll tell them, look, the Republicans are racist. The Republicans are pro-police. You need to register to vote Democrat, right? So they register them to vote. They go to these rallies like this one. They say, hey, the Republicans, they love their guns. They are pro-child death. You guys need to sign up to register to vote and register Democrat. That's the agenda here, guys. And when you bet your country's future on illegal immigrants, on naive kids, on people who burn down their own cities, your country has no future.
We're going down on the football field. Are you a parent?
No, I'm a neighbor.
Okay, great. Well, we're so glad that you're joining us.
Haha, that has nothing to do with my main commentary, but I just thought that was funny when he goes, are you a parent? And the guy goes, no, I'm a neighbor. What does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Jesus Christ, this guy's probably there to diddle these kids. Who are the Democrats bringing onto our campuses?
How'd you get involved in this?
I got involved because one of my fellow student organizers who goes to West High School, she contacted me and I contacted her about the March for Our Lives, Salt Lake City. And we saw that Women's March National had put out a call to action for students to walk out today. Mm-hmm. And once I saw that Women's March National was walking out today, I had to make sure that we walked out as well and that it would be a commitment to our organizing team.
Mm-hmm.
So in his moment of honesty there, you can see that everything I've been saying is exactly spot on. The left have this network of activists, and they don't know anything about gun policy. They don't care about women. They definitely don't care about Black lives. They get the call, and they say, hey, you were at the Black Lives Matter protest. Why don't you go to the Women's March? And then they get the call, hey, you were at the Women's March. You want to make another $15 an hour? Go to this school and hold a walkout. And for these guys, it's a win-win, right? They get to virtue signal, they get to be in the spotlight, they get that fat Soros paycheck, and they get to be around the kids they want to diddle.
So it seemed like this happened relatively quickly?
Oh yes, it's been happening. The past 2 weeks have been extremely hectic because we are short on time, because we want to expedite change as quickly as possible. And so it happened maybe like in a week. We've established our plans the week of Parkland, the week that the students in Parkland called out the March for Our Lives on the 24th. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, we've been getting to work.
Well, this guy is the gift that keeps on giving. I swear I feel so vindicated right now. He is telling you guys everything that I've been saying the past few weeks about how the Democrats had everything in place. They had their network set up. They knew another shooting would happen. They set things up so they could exploit the next crises. They had the media already planning on what they were going to say, how they were going to approach things. They knew they were going to go handpick a few of these Antifa wannabe kids like David Hogg. They knew that they would have protests, and they had all the network organized already. That's how they do things. And they do things quickly, too, and that's something else he talks about. They have to do these things as fast as possible. That's why they set up all the networks in place ahead of time. That's why they wait for the next crisis to happen so they can exploit it. Because they know that in the free market of ideas, their ideas will lose. They have to use emotional arguments. They have to do things while emotions are running high. Because if they have time to let people have debates on these policies, if they have time for people to cool down and start making logical decisions, then nobody's going to support the Democrats.
Hard. It's really hard. It's my responsibility to change some things for these students.
Students are kind of taking back their schools, do you think?
Absolutely. They're taking back our schools. We're taking back our safety. And so I'm so proud of everyone. I'm so proud.
So the kids are taking back the schools. That's great. Let's just let the inmates run the asylum. And these kids, they don't pay taxes. It's not their schools. But let's see just who we're giving our schools to.
How did the shootings in Florida affect you?
The shootings in Florida just affected me in the way that I thought about, well, that could happen to us any day. And so I feel like this is why these walkouts are so important, is to just make aware that our safety is the most important thing for us.
What can be done after this?
We can still just make it aware, have talks, have seminars, maybe go through our security systems, even at our own schools, and rethink our plans of attack.
So I guess that's who's going to take their schools back, right? That's who we need to give our schools to, the purple-haired pussy hat wearers and their Democrat Party operatives. Guys, we need to take back the schools. Us, the taxpayer, us hardworking Americans, the people who are invested in America's future. Yesterday I did this video, and it was about how Donald Trump was speaking on this Marine base, and the media was focusing on all these kids walking out of school, these spoiled brats who went on to destroy property, who acted foolish, got themselves arrested. The media was focusing on them, telling us how great those kids were. Meanwhile, ignoring the kids on this Marine base who Donald Trump was speaking to. So I asked in my video, and I'll ask again now, who do you want the country to go to when our time has passed? Do we give this country over to the purple-haired, pussy hat-wearing fembots and their Antifa wannabe soy boy bros who are out there destroying property, who throw a fit every time something doesn't go their way, whose first reaction to any crisis is to have government take away more of our rights, who live in their mom's basement until they're 30? Or do you want to give our country over to those Marines, the people the media should have been focusing on? The kids who are out there at 18 and 19 working, starting a family, ambitious, focused, driven, who care about this country. I'll pick the Marines every day of the week. I'm out, guys. Check out my channel, InfoWars Stop the Purge. That's the name of the channel, InfoWars Stop the Purge. And then the Patriot Punk, that's my alt, both on YouTube. Also on BitChute, the Patriot Punk. Also, I am on Facebook at Kevin Cormier. You can check me out, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.